Hi, my name is Betsy Webb. I'm the superintendent of the Bangor School Department, and today I am joined by Principal Paul Butler of Bangor High School. What we want to share with the community is how amazing the class of 2016 really is. When you look at their future plans of where they're headed for post-secondary learning or work or military participation, it's pretty amazing. So could you give us some highlights about
Yeah,
this great class?
yeah, banner class in a lot of ways. Uh, we we think of classes and their post-secondary plans as far back as 20 years in terms of comparing data, and this class in all kinds of ways really stands out. Um, that number of students as a percentage of the class moving on to some firm post-secondary plan, 2-year, 4-year college, military, or other defined work career type of next step is over 83%. And just under 80% are going on to a 2 or 4-year college. And all three of those points, the portion of 2-year, the portion of 4-year, is as we look back at that 20-year view on the classes who have left Bangor High School, those all stand out as significant highs. And significant highs in terms of recent trends for kids who 5 and 10-year trends. So remarkable accomplishments in a number of ways, both with the individual students and broadly as a class.
Right. I think there may have been some confusion in the past because we would hear numbers like over 90%, but really what that was is people that are committed to a future plan. And so for this class, it would be 98%.
Right.
Just to clarify for the community so they understand. I know that we had many students that were accepted at the elite schools. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it really was remarkable. We had 9 students in the class that were admitted to what are considered highly selective schools, Ivy League schools. We had students, not all will attend the schools that they were admitted to, but we have every Ivy, with one exception, a Bangor High School student in the class of 2016 was admitted to, and 9 students are going on to those highly selective schools, Stanford included, and Stanford's a dream school. You know, when we're talking to kids, and certainly a number of families walk in to the high school experience, dead set on that dream school. And it's a tough conversation, and for a lot of kids, the types of schools that those students have been admitted to from the class are routinely known as the dream schools. So Stanford was one that for many years we had a lot of kids that was their dream school, and unfortunately it didn't work out for them. They found other great places to attend, but we do have a student that's going to Stanford, University of Michigan included, Colby and Bowdoin in the state of Maine, and then the Ivies that are the gold standard in a lot of ways.
I mean, here we are, a public high school, and we have students that are accepted in basically all but one Ivy, and I'm sure in another year it could be that school as well. You know, how do you think we are able to have such success for our students? Because we know that clearly students have to do the work and they have to create this opportunity, but clearly the high school has a responsibility as well.
Right. Well, I mean, it starts with a dream, and it starts with a commitment to a rigorous program. But we did, I guess it was 3 years ago now, we looked at our whole process of how we queue students up for not only great academic experiences, but all those other intangibles, the quantitative and the qualitative part of a college acceptance profile. And our head of guidance, Dr. Leach, went to a summit in the Boston area, reaffirmed many of the things that we know are true, that a rigorous high school program that where a student demonstrates not only high acumen and ability to tackle a rigorous course, but broad rigorous coursework, affirm that for us. What we were not surprised to learn, but gave us pause and caused us to work with teachers and students and within our programs to offer students the chance to qualitatively differentiate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
The way we like to say is, across the country, there are kids in any town, high school, or America who've done wonderful things and accomplished all those rigorous coursework and high boards. They look, ironically, those terrific kids look remarkably the same when they're competing for those slots. So with the academies and with mentorships within beyond the STEM program, we've asked students to try to create for themselves a qualitative differentiator, something that is beyond but tethered to the academic program. So they've got something special and tangible to say that this is me beyond the classroom. Mm-hmm. I referenced working with teachers. We talked about learning from the conference that the words that the adults who have worked with a student in high school say about them mm-hmm. are important, and they should be. Mm-hmm. So we've just returned to some fundamental elements of how to write about students. So the black and white of the transcript and the test scores is complemented with the color of what trusted adults say about them. And the developing picture of what a student might look like on a campus becomes clearer.
That's great. I mean, it's amazing when you make it a focus and you make it an effort that dream schools become a reality.
Yeah, and that's square one, as I said, it's the academic program. The rigorous pursuit of AP courses, dual enrollment, kids, it still fundamentally is about how you excel in the classroom. And there are instances where the qualitative part, the personality of the student, can compensate for maybe a downtick on the academic side, but ultimately it begins and ends with the academic program. That's been our focus. And,
sure.
Yeah.
So, we have students that go on to these selective schools, and sometimes we hear people say, but what about the average student? Mm-hmm. What kinds of opportunities have we helped students pursue maybe that is not geared towards a 4-year program or to a very, a highly selective school?
Well, we had only one time in the last 20 years of looking at the exit plans of a class has there been a higher number than 2016 of students pursuing a 2-year college degree. Mm-hmm. And there are multiple ways in which we set students up to get whatever level of post-secondary learning or career opportunity that they want to pursue. We've increased the number of dual enrollment opportunities, which are courses students can take at the high school and earn credit at a college or university. We've had students who have taken advantage of not new but emerging programs like ECAP, mm-hmm. where it's an acronym for Early College Access Program, and where they can physically take a course on a college campus, mm-hmm. be a college student, be in a classroom, be on the campus, engage as would any other college student, earn a grade on a transcript, and it's at a reduced cost, $100 for the 3-credit course. Mm-hmm. We've increased our number of articulation courses, primarily and most recently with Hudson University, mm-hmm. where it's not just the AP courses, advanced placement courses. There are other courses that students typically take where their end-of-term success can grant them college credit. So they begin to see that I can do college. College is it's probably never going to be cheap, but they can walk out of Bangor High School with a feeling of success of having earned credit that's been granted by the university, and parlay that into a transition to college. So, in a lot of ways, I think of the dual enrollment and the articulation programs as the students gaining credit, but they're really gaining confidence. Mm-hmm. And the financial benefits with programs like ECAP and others are making college, the affordability of college, more real.
Absolutely. I mean, when we think we can have students graduating from Bangor High School ready to be second-year, university students or community college students or whatever.
Right.
It's pretty amazing.
Well, I was told by this faculty member who has a son who went to Boston University, excellent school, walked onto campus with sophomore status on the strength of a large number of AP courses.
Mm-hmm.
But those stories are not uncommon. There is still tremendous benefit for students who do pursue APs and do well enough on the exams to meet credit requirements of the college university. So AP is very much a part of that game.
Right, so advanced placement and or dual enrollment. So there's like two opportunities. Even if it's not advanced, you could be in the bridge year or participating through Rural U or Husson University.
Right, and it's interesting to see how much the colleges and universities, Husson's a great recent partner in terms of an articulation agreement, a written agreement between Bangor High School, Bangor School Department, and Husson University for credits that a student earns through courses taken at Bangor High School that align to the courses, parallel courses at Husson, written agreements that those courses are going to be good at Husson.
Right.
The University of Maine we have articulation agreements with, and Rural University, Rural U, it's the most recent one that is bridge-like, but has some flexibilities that appeal to some students that may not want to do the technical program.
Right.
So they're all after great kids,
Right.
and I've seen colleges and universities doing very specific things to make college possible for kids.
Right, that's awesome. So sometimes I hear across the nation people say that high school graduates are lacking in soft skills. They don't know how to communicate effectively. They don't have a sense of the importance of time, purpose, and place. They are lacking in what you'd call common sense math.
Mm-hmm.
What has Bangor High School done to try to make sure that all students not only have the academic preparation, but that they are prepared to interact, enter the world of work, and be successful?
Well, first of all, I think I teach the kids. I tell them senior banquet every year. I said it's a rite of passage of the generation ahead of you. They earn the right to criticize the generation behind them. And I remind the kids every year that you guys are doing just fine. Mm-hmm. It begins and ends with us, with the academic program. We have an expectation that kids engage with us, and that's no different than the expectation that employers will have that they engage meaningfully in the workforce. Mm-hmm. So concretely, we have partnerships with, as you know, with Work Ready, and we have those are a set of skills, discrete skills around understanding the world of work, and also attending school, and also achieving in reading and mathematics in a way that proves a student to be capable of managing the workforce. They understand the workforce. And we're in our third year of Work Ready. I don't know the exact number, but typically we'll graduate 20 plus students from that program. Great partnership with UTC. A number of our juniors and seniors, UTC is United Technology Center. It's the vocational program that serves the region. Mm-hmm. Many of our students attend UTC for 2 years, a half day, and strong elements of that program are around the cooperation and the engagement that's required in the field that they're studying. In terms of the day in and day out of the school, it begins and ends with the expectation that kids are purposeful. Mm-hmm. We want them engaged. We praise them when they do well, and we correct them when they're not purposeful. I think culturally that's what this place is about, and kids respond. Mm-hmm. You've said frequently that you set high expectations for kids, and they'll meet them. And I found that I've said I can pick a Bangor High School kid out from a mile away because they just have a sense of purpose. It's a long line of kids who have come before them in achievement-driven school that show them the way. And we've been very successful, especially with those students that we might call at risk, maybe have troubled attendance, or maybe have had a spotty academic record. We have supported challenge for every kid. We believe in them. We find a way to put them on that pathway to what we say is a meaningful post-secondary opportunity. We've realigned our math program to make sure that all kids have a shot at Algebra 2. We've ignored the national trend to get away from literature-based writing. We think it's really important. I think we've been proven right. That idea that kids read and write in response to literature, hit nonfiction in relevant ways, have ethical conversations in science like citizens, so that in all ways we feel like a coordinated, challenging 4-year experience puts them in position to earn a post-secondary opportunity, whatever it is, if it's Harvard or down the road or in the world of work.
That's awesome. I have to ask you a question. As an educator, do you have this sense of like almost missing the class of 2016? I know for myself, you make the relationships. They're a wonderful group. I found them to be polite and bright and very much excited about making a difference in the world. And I know for myself, there's almost a sadness that now we have to let them go, but I know they're off to great things.
I use that analogy of the great students across America who are seeking next level opportunities, and they look the same. I almost take for granted how incredibly bright and committed the class was. And when I get an opportunity, which I frequently do, to have somebody visit the high school and walk them around, I find myself being reminded of how unbelievable kids are. And not only in STEM, but in all the other ways in which the students of the class of 2016 were accomplished. STEM was outlier did. That was the first group of students who had the 4-year STEM experience. The things that they accomplished on the local, regional, national level, I have a hard time believing will be repeated. But there are kids, in particular, the people part of the kids, that they were humble, they were smart, they were good to each other, they took risks, they asked for help, and that's really what you want in the kids. That's in a lot of ways it's bigger than school. And so many special individuals and a really special collective group.
Right. Sometimes I hear people say who aren't in the business of education, of working with young people day in and day out, who will say, as you said, there are a generation that, that next generation. I know from our work that I get a great sense of hope for the future, because they are amazing.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. Thank you.